Welcome to the Contrarian Capitalist YouTube channel. Delighted to have you here. This video is going to be about how to store your precious metals effectively and why you should store them effectively. There's a couple of do's and don'ts here, and this goes on the back of the, if you have watched this in sequence, this goes on the back of the episode the other day about why you must own gold. The same reasons really apply for silver. And again, there are other precious metals out there, palladium, platinum, etc. But storing your metals is a fiercely debated subject. Very interesting looking around other people, looking at other websites and other readings. There's a couple of ways to do it, basically. And again, the option really comes down to you. But it's amazing the amount of people that still almost entrust the system to look after their things. As I said before, I'm cynical at the best of times. The less trust that we can put in large organizations, government, etc., the better, to be perfectly honest with you. But hey ho, it is what it is. There's a couple of ways to store your metals. You can store them at home, which is number one. You can have them in a bank deposit safe, or you can store them in third-party storage. What we're going to do, we're going to go through each one with some pros and cons, basically. And ultimately, the decision is yours. I'm just here to help educate and impart information as best as I can. So, storing your metals at home. Why is that? Why is that a good thing? Why is it a bad thing? Well, number one, accessibility. It's a positive because of accessibility. If something were to go wrong, and let's just say the banks decided to close down for a week, or they've been told by government to close down for a week. Now, if you've got no access to your bank cards and you've got no way to access your cash, let's just say, there's a cyber attack as well and online banking's down, but you've got some precious metals in your house, people will more than likely accept that. It's gold, it's silver. Why not? People will probably accept that. So if you've got them in your home, that's going to be quite useful. It's there, it's easily accessible in a time of need. You may never need it, but at the same time, you never know. So that's an advantage. Your disadvantages of having them at home is that if, unfortunately, for example, your home gets robbed, for example, and people come across your stash of metals and they're gone, sayonara, good night. That's a case of unlucky. Are there going to be issues there with insurance? What if you've got a stack of metals at home? Have you told your insurer? If you haven't told your insurer and then you get robbed, for example, what happens there? You got to figure these things out. Is it good to talk to your insurer? Probably. Have people spoken to their insurers? Probably not. I don't know. But listening to people like Jeff Clark, who's, the gold advisor, he said before he's had metals stolen from his home, and it's created all sorts of issues. So it's something to consider. I thought, who knows about it? If you do have, let's just say, 10 ounces of gold in your house, who knows about it? Does his spouse know about it? Do people know about it? If people don't know about it and something happens, they're not going to know where it is or how to access it. If too many people know about it, you might be creating a target for your own back. And again, disadvantage could be, how confident are you? How comfortable are you with having metals in your home? If you're not comfortable with that idea, maybe home storage isn't for you. If you are comfortable with that idea, then fine, find a good place to put them. Maybe if you're then at home and, where do you put them? Do you put them in a safe? It's a bit too obvious. Maybe put them in a plant pot. These sorts of things you really got to have a think about, because, worst case scenario, you're going to need to remember where they are to start off with. So you don't need to make it too obscure. And on the flip side, again, if something does happen and you did get burgled, for example, you're going to hope that the people don't run off with said precious metals. From what I hear from other people, A lot of other people say that if you're not storing metals in your home, at least have them very close, maybe a walkable distance, or you get on get on your bicycle and have them at a very, very close distance. At the end of the day, ultimately the decision is yours, how comfortable you are. But from what I hear, it seems like quite a few people do have some form of home storage. So something to consider. Moving on to option number 2 is bank storage, bank safety deposit boxes. Now, the notion of safety deposit boxes are good, in my opinion. However, the challenge is the institution in which they're going to be held, banks. No bueno. Again, let's look at worst case scenario. Let's just say the economy goes kaput, which, at the time of recording, it's slowly going that way. Anything can happen, and it's quite dangerous out there, macro-wise at the moment. I don't think people quite understand how, a lot of the general public don't understand quite how dangerous it is out there at the moment financially. People listening to this channel probably got a very differing opinion and probably understand why it's quite dangerous out there. If you put your metals in a bank safety deposit box, then it's under care of the bank. Or what if that bank goes bankrupt? What if that bank's ordered to shut down with immediate effect? Now, if that happens, safety deposit box or not, you're not getting access to that bank. And if you don't get access to that bank, you then don't have access to your metals. And if the bank goes bankrupt and their assets are seized, possibly on their balance sheet somewhere, what you've got in that safety deposit box, they might be counted as an asset. And if that's all taken away, you're up crap creek, basically, and without a paddle to boot. So there are some issues there. That's why a lot of people, and I'll say the same thing, do not put your precious metals in a safety deposit box with a bank. We've got to get it out of the system. That's the whole point. Get it out of the system, So don't do it. If you want to, feel free. But my advice on that is don't do it. Do not put your precious metals. You're trying to get out of the system. If you buy precious metals in the first place, chances are you want a bit of decentralization. You want to have a bit more autonomy. There's no point purchasing metals and then giving it back to a crooked institution anyway. The third option, which is the most preferred option, is to have safety deposit box or storage facilities with a third party. The names that I hear bandished around quite a lot, and people that I've used and I trust would be Brinks's and Loomis. And I'm finding that, especially here in the UK, with a couple of bullion websites, what you can do now is when you purchase, rather than take delivery, you can put it straight into storage in various places around the world. I think one of the websites I use has a storage facility which is run by Brinks's, and that's over in Switzerland. So again, very, very good to have that facility. This is what people prefer to do, especially if you're looking to buy kilos and kilos and tons of precious metals. You're not going to keep that in the bank. You're not going to keep that at home. Chances are you're going to use a third party and use their storage facilities, and then have it in a jurisdiction as well that is very reliable, very responsible, politically stable. Places where Brinks's operate, or various places throughout the USA, here in the UK as well, Switzerland, I think Singapore is another one, and other places around the world are available. And some people then look at the fees. They'll look at storage fees. And again, if you're buying kilograms and tons of metals in the first place, it's always prudent to make that investment into having safe, secure storage facilities as well. So that would be the preferred option of storing your precious metals. So let's run through that again. Really got three main options. Option number one is going to be you can store it at home. Yeah, maybe that's okay for small amounts. And if you've got it in a relatively safe and secure location, it's easily accessible. Absolutely. So in times of need, times of panic, you've got something there and you've got a recognizable form of money. So that's very, very good. Disadvantages on that would be, well, if you get stolen or anything like that, bye-bye, and you might have issues with the insurance, your home insurance. Number two, bank safety deposit boxes. Again, safety deposit box, the theory of them is absolutely fine, not an issue, but the whole point of buying metals is to get your wealth out of the system. So there's no point then putting it back into bank storage, especially if that bank, say for example, goes bankrupt and the branch closes or whatever reason, and you're not able to then gain access to your metals. No bueno. Number 3, which is the most preferred method from people that I speak to, is third-party storage. So again, common names that I hear, Brinks's and Loomis. I'm sure others are available, and for a relatively small investment, shall we say, that they're going to be in some of the best facilities worldwide, and you can store your metals in various jurisdictions as well. So that is why, or that is how to store your precious metals. That is also why you should store your precious metals. As always, if you like the video, press the like button, which I think is down there somewhere. Subscribe as well, and tell other people about this channel, friends, family, etc. The more traction we can get, I'm here to help. I'm learning this stuff as I go along as well. I love being able to learn macroeconomics. Every day's a learning curve. I'm learning loads of new things every day. My aim is to part this knowledge back in a fun, enjoyable way, and that's through this YouTube channel as well. So do like the video, subscribe as well, so you get notifications when new videos pop up, and happy metals storing.